Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Fiendish Friends, episode 5. Real money, real tokens, real talk. Joining us for today's episode, we have two wizards coming in to cast spells with Riftenlabs CEO Dagur Valberg Johannsson and Shadow Wizard Archmage Halvor Bakke-Veiby, the team behind Cauldron and Moria. We get to learn about Cauldren Dex, Moria Protocol, and Moria USD while cracking open some magical green elixirs together during the hour. Before we begin, Fiendish and Friends are running two giveaways today for a chance to grab a big stash of up to 60,000 emerald, and we have some Moria USD to hand out. Just be present at the spaces and comment your cash token addresses to win. More details can be found on our Twitter profile or in Fiendish and Friends Telegram group. This week in the news, Electron Cash has released version 4.4.2, bringing with it a slew of improvements to our favorite Bitcoin Cash power user wallet, including updates to the user interface and expanded features such as support for 15, 18, and 24 word seed phrases. There's also been some nice enhancements to cash fusions, cash tokens, and RPA, along with your regular bug fixes. BCH.Games now offers daily, weekly, and monthly racing tournaments where players can compete for cash prizes. Users can climb the leaderboard and potentially claim up to $6,000 in prizes every month through placing and winning bets. And just like with BCH, there are no barriers and everyone can join and test their chops against other players. Moria USD, an asset backed stablecoin which uses BCH as collateral, has over $20,000 total value locked on Cauldron, keeping it in pole position on the BCH token leaderboard. And one MUSD will be sent out to 15 lucky live listeners of this episode who post their cash tokens aware address in the spaces comments. So if you haven't done that already, drop your cash token aware address now. Fiendish Token's price in BCH has risen over the week, leveling up 2 places and is currently in 5th place on the Cauldron leaderboard. The Fiendish Token supercharges the community through social games, exclusive access to goodies and services, and can be traded for either BCH on Cauldron or the most important asset of all time. One Fiendish is backed by a minimum of 1 minute Fiendish services, consultation, expertise, and fun. And the Fiendish Token is a winner. The Bitcoin Cash podcast and meme master Luke Pryor ran the BCH 2024 Cash Tokens meme coin competition, with the best new meme coin winning 1 BCH. And guess which coin won? That's right, yours truly, the Fiendish Token. Catch the Bitcoin Cash podcast, episode 136, to find out why Fiendish Token was chosen as the #1 new coin on BCH. It might make sense just to get some in case it catches on. Congratulations to all participants, but especially to Meme Coin's Someone and Smile for making 2nd and 3rd place, respectively. And a big shout out to everyone who joined in the fun. There were many worthy entries. And yeah, John Galt, dedicated Fiendish fan, has created a fantastic new song for BCH, A World United, which was reposted yesterday for your listening pleasure. The link to the song can be found in the comments coming up in a minute. And for those listening to the recording, the song can be played or will be played at the end of this episode. Couldn't get it on the live stream, unfortunately, due to technical complications. A BCH All-Star Poker game will be live streamed this Saturday, the 14th of December, on the Bitcoin Cash podcast and Bitcoin Cash TV. Watch Kalin Kuliani, Mini Satoshi, Ryan Giffen, Jeremy B. Chad Callisti, and yours truly battle it out over the cards. 2 hours long, winner takes all, and we're excited by this chance to take everyone's hard-earned BCH. Roger Ver, famous Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash proponent, was on Tucker Carlson, of all people, to explain to the world how BTC was hijacked as part of raising awareness for his new book, Hijacking Bitcoin, and also around the extradition case that the IRS has brought against him, sparking fresh discussion about how Bitcoin Cash saved Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Finally, Emerald has received an upgrade. Do you have something you want shouted out on Fiendish and Friends? Maybe a call out to an awesome person, a product, or something you think is fun? Now it's possible with a Fiendish shout out. Just send 100,000 Emerald to Fiendish and Friends before or during an episode, comment the transaction ID and up to 10 words in a Twitter reply or DM to Fiendish Crypto. Stay up to date with all the latest BCH insights and news by following the Bitcoin Cash Foundation on Twitter. And that was the news. And with all that in mind, history is now in the making. Here is the first ever Fiendish Shoutout. AriaVPN.net, a bunch of self-licensed cypherpunks at your service. Thank you, Bruno. AriaVPN accepts BCH, and at just $30, you get a whole year's of usage. So, without a further second of waiting, let's get our wizard's hats on, crack open a potion, and start stirring the cauldron to see what spells we can conduct on today's show. So please welcome Shadow Wizards, Dagur and Halvor onto the stage. Hi guys, welcome to Fiendish Friends.
Thank you so much, Fiendish.
Thank you. Wow, what an intro.
Yeah, it's amazing when you actually reflect on it, like how much news there is in just 1 week. You know, there's a lot going on right now in the ecosystem, and it's very exciting. And there's a lot going on with you guys, right, and Riftenlabs. So I think over the last few weeks, everyone in BCH has either heard about or come into contact in some form with one of your products, but probably aren't aware of the team behind Moria and Cauldron. So who are the wizards behind Riftenlabs? Let's hear.
Yeah, so we actually have a couple of them in the room right now. We have Nocob, aka Jacob, aka Shadow Wizard number 9, the principal engineer and super talented PhD from the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. We have me, Halvor, Shadow Wizard number 2. I'm a rocket engineer. I joined as the kind of second in the team. We have Mr. Marius Sharstad here, or also super talented crypto person, Ethereum guy, and also a stunt BCH supporter. And of course, we have the Shadow Wizard High Priest himself, the King, Dagur Valberg, my trusted companion, and yeah, the inventor of Cauldron Protocol, the Moria Protocol, and High Priest of everything BCH DeFi. So yeah, our team is growing basically every week. We have partners all over the world, and yeah, with the introduction of MUSD last week, I try and always get 8 hours of sleep each night, but it's becoming increasingly harder. I don't know. What about you, Dagur?
Oh, the first nights were kind of tense, but I'm starting to sleep better now. Things have been running for a few days, or has it been a week already? I'm not sure.
No implosions yet.
It feels like a long time. And it's gone without a hiccup, which is awesome. We have more tokens locked in than I was expecting. I was saying to the other guys, like, if we manage to get like 20 BCHs locked into Cauldron together with Moria during the test, I would consider it a success. And we already have closer to 40 last time I checked. So people are really using, really testing it out. I'm very glad about it.
Yeah, that's actually one of my questions was, you know, with the launch, did it go as to be expected? So then it was double what you were expecting.
I mean, I said, like, if we get to 20 BCHs during like the whole test period, I would be happy. And we exceeded that in 2 days.
There we go, though. Looking forward to see where that goes. So it's kind of interesting just thinking about your background. So thinking, Halvor, you were a rocket scientist. How does a rocket scientist end up working as a wizard for a Dex and for Riftenlabs and BCH?
Well, in 2017 I was a developer in the first Bitcoin wallet app in Norway, together with some other super talented people, Torkil Rogstad, Bjorn Olav, the guys that run Bar Bitcoin right now. It's a centralized exchange, and lots of other talented people. When we did that, I co-founded a co-working space in Trondheim, where it's in the north of Norway, which is the place where the Riftenlabs HQ is right now, and where me and Dagur is in each of our rooms. So working here, I started to learn about the rocket engineering and started working at the rocket lab at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, and eventually dropped out to create machines that clean up space debris. And Dagur is actually my second ever investor, only after Mr. Shasta there. So this is kind of how this came to be. Last summer, Dagur came to me and said, Halvor, I think I know how we can make the world's fastest Dex. Do you want to help? And I said, yeah. And now we're here.
That is amazing. And yeah, and you build up quite a team quite quickly behind Riftenlabs. So it's really exciting to see that growth happening in Bitcoin Cash. So Riftenlabs is responsible for several exciting BCH products. One of the latest to be released in the alpha form, as you already mentioned, is the Moria USD and the Moria protocol. Can you tell our audience, like, what's the difference between these two things? What's the differentiator, and why should everyone here be excited by them?
The differentiator between Cauldron and Moria? Was that the question?
Sorry, the picture was covering my mic and I couldn't get rid of it. No, the question was, so we've got the Moria protocol and Moria USD.
Okay. The difference between those two? Well, the protocol is basically a smart contract. So it's fully transparent and it's open source, and it is what allows you to mint the MUSD. And the way you mint MUSD is that you put up some BCH as collateral, like this BCH is kind of the proof that MUSD has value, right? It's backing the MUSD token. That's the only way to mint MUSD. And this is also what gives it its value. So you put in collateral and you say, like, I want to get 100 MUSD out. That means you have to put in at least 150 USD worth of BCH out into collateral. And that is basically the protocol. So it is a loan contract that also is a stablecoin contract. It's like two present in one. And this gives you a very, very transparent stablecoin where you can see that, yeah, there is actually something backing it. And it's also, since it's a smart contract, it is there's no third party that can stop it. And it's a big deal because now you can it has many use cases, but for investors, the use case would be you get to keep your BCH even though you want to do other investments, right? So say you want to buy some Tesla stock, but you need liquidity. So do you sell your BCH to buy Tesla stock? Or, well, in this case, you can keep your BCH.
Hell no.
Yeah, right. You get to keep your BCH and you get to buy Tesla. So it allows you to gear your investment in that way. For the
okay, that was a great question. Is what is the use case? And that's exactly it, because especially right now in a bull run, to sell BCH to invest into something else would be probably a pretty crazy move, or not a very smart move right now in the market, thinking about a pro crypto government in America and a new SEC head. So I could go to Moria. I want to have some liquidity. I want to buy, as you say, some Tesla shares, or maybe I need to make that payment on whatever it is I need to do. I can go to Moria. I bring my BCH. I lock it up in a smart contract, and understand this. There's no then third-party counter risk. It's just the contract there. So even if Riftenlabs was to disappear and go away, it would have no bearing on that contract that I've made when I've deposited my BCH. And in return, I get some Moria USD, so this new stable coin on Bitcoin Cash. So just to understand, how much BCH would I need to deposit relative to the value of the Moria USD that I get out of that?
You need to deposit 50% more, so 150% to get a new loan. But then the loan is allowed to go down in collateral until 110%, and there, so you have some room there. But if you go down below 110%, it basically becomes technically it becomes like a anyone can spend contract. That means that anyone can pay back your loan and take your collateral. That's only if you go under 110%. So, and the logic behind that is when you don't keep your collateral high, if you allow it to go that far down, you're kind of putting the protocol at risk, right? Because what gives MUSD its value is that you actually have some other assets backing it, and the final 10% is your punishment and someone else's thank you. Like it incentivizes other people to pick up your bad loan and
Yeah,
keep
makes
the
sense.
protocol going.
Yeah, keep the protocol going, keep that USD backed, MUSD backed, and making sure that it stays stable. Makes sense. Okay, so then I guess then 150% is the minimum amount of collateralization. I guess there's a possibility of also making it even more collateralized. Is there a maximum limit of the collateralization that you can use?
There is technically no maximum, but we added up to 500% in the user interface. But if you go and do it outside our user interface, then you can put as much as you want.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting, and this is a really exciting time for BCH because, of course, there are other tools out there to stabilize the value of BCH. There is AnyHedge from General Protocols, but it comes with some more technical aspects which might shy away or make people shy away from that who are less used to the ecosystem, less used to the company. Stable coins is something that everyone is aware of. It's very simple. You have a token in your wallet. It represents a certain amount of value that you can exchange for a dollar's worth of value or whatever the stable coin is. So I think this is something that people will jump at potentially much more because it's understood. And it sounds like that's what you're seeing too. So it's beat expectations, and you've had double the usage so far that you expected just in a few days, which suggests that there's a lot more to come with MUSD. But it's currently when you go on to app.moria.money, which is the Moria protocol, it's got on here. This is an experimental and time limited test run. And of course, there's a link there to go and people can read up some more of the risks there and what the test run is. But maybe you could just sum it up in a few sentences. What is the stage of MUSD? What is this test run, and when does it come to an end?
So the test run is the protocol is very simple today. We would like to add some more features to it, and the test run is basically to test what we can make with the current consensus limitations, and see if is it a viable product. The only way to test a product like this is to do it with real money, because if you put it on testnet, it doesn't really make sense because testnet coins don't have any money behind them, right? They're worthless, so they're not real collateral. So this is basically the best way to test it. And we have decided before launching that this is a test run. This is not the final product. And that's why we added something called sunset clause. And sunset clause is basically a more convenient way to end, because it's Bitcoin Cash, right? Because it's Bitcoin Cash, you always own the money. You own the UTXOs. We can't just shut it down cleanly. So this is the cleanest way to do it. When the sunset clause is triggered, and it can be triggered by us, that means that anyone holding MUSD is able to pay back any loan. And when you pay back using the sunset clause, you get BCH equal the MUSD value you have, and all the over collateralized BCH goes back to whoever created the original loan contract.
So basically, I haven't bought enough Moria USD, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Oh.
This means that if MUSD goes to 90 cents, for example, you could buy 100 MUSD for $90 and just keep it until the sunset, and you will get $100 worth of BCH back. So it would be an amazing arbitrage opportunity if MUSD would ever to go below peg.
Wow,
That
that's
said,
good to know.
we're not recommending you to put.
No,
of
course.
All right, so I shouldn't invest like a couple of $100,000 right now, because I just had it lined up to push it.
APY is
Yeah.
9.12%, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine. I think it's really, really valuable what you're doing here, because of course, everything can be theoretically very nice and working very well, but once you've got real money on the table, then people's psychology is different, of course, when it's fake money, and then you can really start testing the system and test for any weak points. And I think this is a really good thing to do. So of course, everyone there's $20,000 locked in. I'm guessing quite a lot of participants in this, but it should be treated very much as a testing phase, from what I understand, and just to stress test this out before the full rollout. And what I'd love to know is, like, so far, you've mentioned that you've had some sleepless nights, and I imagine this is very, very big for you guys, and you want to make sure everything's going smooth and that it's a great success. And you've already mentioned to some of that, it's been an impressive adoption so far. Have you guys stumbled into any bugs that have been identified, or anything that you can share where you think, where you've made some improvements or some adjustments to this?
We've had a few feature requests, people want to partially pay back their loan, which is understandable, but there is no. I mean, the contract is exactly 201 opcodes, which is the consensus limit today, so we can't add any more features. And I just want to point out that it is a test run, and there are very few people in the world who are able to audit the contract. We have had a few people. I'm not going to say the names in case anything goes wrong, but we had some of the best people we know look into it and review the contract. But it is a test, so yeah. Besides that, we will be adding. I have talked a lot with Marius. He's here in the chat, and we talked a lot about how we could keep push the value up in case it starts to go down. And the one way of doing that is to increase the borrow fee in case the peg goes off. And that's one of the features we will be adding in the next test run. And that's also an important feature in similar products like liquidity. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And how has the peg been so far? So I'm just looking at it now. Current price on Cauldron is 0.994 dollars. So it seems to be maintaining its peg quite well, and we've had quite a bit of volatility with the BCH price since that has launched. Are you happy with, and of course liquidity is going to impact this, I would assume, quite greatly. So the less liquidity, the smaller the ecosystem, the more a coin like this should move between a certain range as people buy it and sell it. But how has that peg been maintained since launch? Is it good? You happy with it?
Oh, I'm very happy with it. It has been okay. What's interesting is that there are no bots, right? No one has developed bots yet, and still the peg is being maintained. That just means that people are really following and interested, and are taking the small arbitrage opportunities there are. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I think, but it's a good sign then that there's enough people in the community who are interested in this to validate you guys investing all this time. Yeah, and I really think being able to safely store value in something in a stable coin without leaving the BCH ecosystem, this is a huge win for BCH. And as I've already said, it's, you know, to see all this testing and careful rollout of this technology is to be highly respected. This is a great way of reducing the risks until all the pieces of the jigsaw are in line, and I guess, you know, all the kinks are ironed out. So yeah, Moria USD is available for those that are listening. You can purchase this on Cauldren Dex, which is another hugely popular BCH product created by you guys. So before just going into and discussing a little about Cauldron, I've got a second Fiendish shout out here. This is from Cheapy. And his shout out is, please check out fundme.cash/campaign/17 to support my work. So go check out Cheapy's fundraiser and be the someone to help push it over the finish line. All right, so Cauldron. So Cauldren Dex, this is something, as you guys are aware, I've been getting acquainted with over the last few weeks. It's my first foray into tokens in any ecosystem, because I have to be quite frank, it's not my game. It's not the sort of thing that drove me to BCH, but I see there's a lot of interesting things, a lot of fun to be had there, and I've been, you know, having a lot of fun interacting with your website and all the different wallet connect wallets. Um, so tell us about Cauldron. Like for those that are listening who don't know what a Dex is or what Cauldron offers, pitch your product. What does Cauldron offer, and why should people go and check it out?
Cauldron is the world's fastest DEX. Cauldron is built on the original Bitcoin and cryptocurrency philosophy that having money and using money is basically a human right. And some might say that the ethos of the cryptosphere has been kind of diluted over the past years, and Cauldron was created to usher in a renaissance of this philosophy of everyone being able to use money everywhere. So Cauldron is simply a protocol and a website interface that anyone, anywhere, at any time can enter, and a wallet is automatically created, and you can swap tokens, you can provide liquidity, and what we've seen, some of the stuff that makes me most happy is actually people in developing nations just using the Cauldron web wallet as just their wallet to just transact, and especially now with MUSD, this makes it so much easier for people just to, buy bread using crypto. So this is some of the stuff that's made me actually most proud of what we've done with Cauldron and with Moria. So no, Cauldron is a DEX. It's a decentralized exchange. It's a protocol out there in the world that just lets people transact with each other and increases freedom overall in the world.
Cauldron is also, I would say, a DEX is like, it's the most loved DeFi product out there, right? You can't have decentralized finance without having a way to exchange your assets in a good way. So it's basically a cornerstone of DeFi. And it was the first obvious product that needed to be made to introduce Bitcoin Cash to the DeFi system. But it's also it's fun. People love to create an asset, to have something that represents a community, to have something that represents something they value, right? And it's also a way to get like a passive yield. Like if you have trust in BCH and you have trust in another token, then you can put it into a pool and you can collect passive yield over time. And this is a product we didn't have before on Bitcoin Cash. You couldn't just your only way to gain passively was to have the price go up, right? But now you're providing a service, right? You are a market maker and you get some yield for it for your service.
And this is also a kind of fundamental of the product that none of us can rug anyone. Same with Moria. It's we ourselves, the devs, don't know how to rug this. So with all these centralized crypto applications, you have this constant fear of being rugged. I actually myself wish to take up a loan in USDT because you basically know that it's going to be rugged one day or totally collapse under its own wings. So this is also a good thing when you're out there in the world. Just it's not your keys, not your coins, and there are malicious actors out there. So the best thing you can do is just to use open source protocols and use something wherein no one can actually rug you and steal your money. So and this is what I love about DeFi, and this is the ethos that Cauldron and Moria is built upon.
Yeah, it's an awesome ethos, and it also means, as you say, you don't have this third-party risk. It can't be rugged by the developers, and so it's a great asset to Bitcoin Cash. And I've definitely seen, you said Dagur is a lot of fun, and we've seen this. There's been a huge growth in the people that are trading tokens on here. So I'm not sure how many tokens you've got right now. I'm just scrolling down. 227 different tokens is I don't know how that compares to other chains. I guess something like Sol has thousands, but considering the fact that tokens have only been available on Bitcoin Cash Network since last year.
And there are thousands of cash tokens. These are just the ones with liquidity on Cauldron. So I think
There you go.
I think there's
Yeah.
between 5 and 10,000. Last time I checked, which was I think May, there were 7,000 cash tokens, CRC and BSMR. So there's literally
That's
thousands.
insane. Wow. Okay. There's a lot then. Okay, so that means we've got 227 tokens that have some liquidity, so some amount of BCH in the corresponding token on Cauldron. So that's pretty incredible when thinking about the tokens have only been possible since the cash tokens upgrade in 2023. And of course, it didn't launch with great tooling. So, the really easy to use tooling is relatively recent, baked into different wallets such as Electron Cash, also Paytaka with the Cash Token Studio, which is really easy to use. So this is all relatively recent stuff. So quite an explosion, I'd say, on the scene of this new thing. So how do you guys feel about this? This is your business model. You've got this Dex out, the only Dex, if I'm not mistaken, on BCH, and certainly the first. How has that launch gone for you? How has the last year been for you? Have you been hitting the sort of the growth and the usage that you guys are expecting?
Well, it is very new, and as you say, it's very little support. But I would say the growth has been considering awesome. And I also love to see all the use cases pop up. and shout out to Bitcoin Cash TV. I don't know if you watched his show, but he spends a lot of his time on the show trading on Cauldron and considering tokens, and he has some nice products. Like he gives out, like you give out emeralds, he gives out points. Like you get a point for every minute you watch. Yeah, there's so many cool products going on, and it's kind of like what comes first, the Dex or the usage. The Dex has to come first. So I am expecting exponential growth, right? As the useful tokens come in, like your token. It adds more value to the Dex as well, and it gives like a network effect, like for every other token out there, and you will see eventually like huge growth, even though it hasn't quite come yet. But we have a few thousand users if you look at the blockchain and I look at the unique wallets. We don't track our users, so the only way to see usage is to actually look at the blockchain, and we see thousands of users coming in, and it's awesome.
That's really interesting. Is this something that you publish and we can look anywhere? Just the numbers of unique wallets, for example, unique addresses that are using this?
We have an API for it, so I mean, I guess we should like on Moria page we have like a stats where you can see like Moria stats. We really should add that for Cauldron as well.
Yeah, I would love to see that, because for me, yeah, it's the rate of growth and seeing, how interested people are, and also when there are certain peaks, like when all of a sudden new addresses are being used, like, and then trying to link that to what activities are happening out there in the world. Is it linked to a conference? Is it linked to your promotional activities? So because for me, what I love about Bitcoin Cash and its ecosystem is rising tide raises all the ships, and so your success helps BCH success helps you, and it's the same with general protocols, all the stuff that they're doing. It's all contributing. And so the more information that's shared out there, I know you see the Bitcoin Cash podcast, Jeremy is listening. He's a big fan of these sort of stats too, because the more we can see the growth in the ecosystem, the more we can try and link it to what activities is helping with that growth. It can never be a bad thing. I think it can help with that and making smarter decisions.
Shout out Jeremy.
Shout out to Jeremy. That's a good time actually for the third of the four Fiendish shoutouts. So this one's from Jeremy. When tokenized time leaderboard on Cauldron, please, BCH podcast. 100,000 emeralds well spent there. Thanks, Jeremy. I don't know if you guys want to answer that.
Yeah,
I think we should pull Jeremy on the stage and have a pitch his idea, and then we can comment on it. How about that?
yeah. I
Jeremy,
love
I've
the
invited you. Let's get you on. So your shout-out's got you a place on the mic, and you can.
So I can just say
You can ask directly.
we're actually always looking to find new ways to visualize and to kind of show different things and individual tokens doing stuff. I mean, Arbor Update was all about this, showing new sets of data and just making everything more available. So yeah, I love this idea, Jeremy. So yeah.
It's also something, I'm not sure if I've never seen this before. And whether it's a great idea or not, in the long term, who knows, right? I don't know. But in the short term, what I think is it could theoretically spiral into a good thing. It could spiral into something very interesting. It's novel. I don't think I've seen this on anywhere else, and that's the kind of thing that novel things. Let's face it, that's what DeFi is, right? That's what attracts that first wave. It's the novelty. It's new. It's exciting, and so if BCH sort of sets a trend somewhere, I think it stands a lot more chance of gaining traction with these different communities that are looking for that new thing, as opposed to just chasing the trend.
Absolutely.
I think someone needs to describe the idea for the audience.
So the idea here is, so with the Fiendish token, it represents at the very bare minimum time. So if you have a certain amount of Fiendish token, you can cash that in for some of my time, consultation, or whatever. And this is something that's been used and as that. And so Jeremy was very interested by this idea too. He thought, wow, this is great. You could have different people within the community that are more well known, that instead of doing fundraisers or things like that, they could actually tokenize their time, and then people could use these time tokens on what they think is important. So theoretically, if you really wanted someone to help you with your project, you wanted someone to help you with Cauldron, and you wanted a developer, and you didn't have the right person or the content creator for that, then you could go and buy their token, and that token is literally worth 30 minutes of their time, 60 hours of their time, whatever, and then you could spend that and get their services. And so the idea was from Jeremy was, as I understand it. Oh, Jeremy's actually a speaker. So I just finished my sentence, and then Jeremy can say if that's correct or not and add some detail. Is what Jeremy was thinking about is actually having a separate page for those sort of special tokens, where it's a utility token where you're literally paying for someone's time, and then Jeremy would release his token, and there you can make it a bit of a competition, like whose time is more valuable. And it'd also be a separate page that people could go to. So it's okay, this isn't just a meme coin. This is actually a token that you can use someone's times for, and of course it'll be based on trust. But that's the point, isn't isn't it? You would buy the tokens, or you're more likely to buy the tokens of people that you trust, people that have high value, people that you think at a certain point in the future you would appreciate being able to access their time, services, and skills. So Jeremy, maybe you could chime in and add a few words to that.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, generally, yeah, that was sort of my idea. I love this idea of Fiendish has kind of tokenized his time, right? Which means that then you're in a situation where he can issue new coins, essentially an advance, like a loan against his own future time to get capital, but because he can sell them on the Dex for BCH, and then if people want more of his time as a consultant or to help with whatever project, they can buy his token, right? And that pumps the price up and makes it more valuable. So then he can issue more coins. Of course, he can't go crazy. If he issues too many, then everybody wants some of his time, and then suddenly his other obligations he can't hold up. But if that's happening, or if he's making money some other way, he can then buy back his own shares of his own time, essentially, right, on the Dex as well too. So it operates in both directions. And the more I thought about this, the more I thought, well, if I did that, which I'm thinking through, I haven't got it all set up yet, but I'm thinking through that. If I did that, if both of you guys did that, if more of the ecosystem did that, then we would, like, money is always a way of transacting time. But if we had a direct market for it, which you could see on a separate page or even just a filter on the list of tokens, then anybody new to the ecosystem would essentially be able to understand it as a kind of marketing exercise. Like, oh wow, these are the most important economic actors in the BCH space. So you could then just quickly get to the bottom of, okay, who's like making stuff happen, because the more somebody was making stuff happen, the more people would want to buy their coin, right? And if you listed it not just as the coin with the details of the TVL and the price, but you then also had like links to their website, their Twitter profile,
be in the coin itself,
or whatever, but it would be ideal if it was all like you could see when you went on there, okay, here's a couple of links to follow up on what is this person doing, because the Dex is already getting a lot of visibility. And at the moment, it would be hard for people to figure out what is going on with all the different coins, which is part of the fun, right? They can find a fog token or Bitcoin Cash TV or Fiendish, and they can dig into each of those things. So that's fun, but we should try and accelerate that process and make it more easy to understand what's going on by helping them link to more information about each of those coins. I know you can already click on the coins and then click on the website and see, people have written a description or how it works or everything like that. But just because the Dex is going to have so much visibility, and it would be a unique innovation in Bitcoin Cash if we started all tokenizing our time and then trading it amongst each other, which also obviously generates on-chain transactions. And that's a unique concept to all of crypto that takes no new technology. We already have all the technology there for it, and I think it could catch on as an idea. I think it would be really interesting. Tokenized time kind of has a nice ring to it. So that's my basic idea.
I love the idea, and I would love to see more. I like it. I like the Fiendish token, and I would love to see more like time-based tokens. Also because they actually have something real value behind it. It's not like a meme token. It has time is valuable, right?
Exactly.
So I am open to testing it out, but we need more time tokens in that case. We can't just have a filter for Fiendish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I am planning.
I'm okay with that. Just my own table. It's just
Fiendish's time going through the roof. Yeah. Well, I have thought about it, and I am working through it because I want to do it also sort of as the podcast, right? Because I could do it as just Jeremy, but that's kind of got limited scope, right? Whereas if I do it for the podcast, then people will also be able to trade in the podcast coins, probably if they need some help from Jet on something, or just generally the resources of the podcast, right? If they want to promote something in particular, and we might get it set up with a special clause or whatever, so that you can send in a certain amount of the token, and then if you want to guarantee that we will answer your question live on the show, or if you want to shout out something, or you want to make a particular comment, then we can also have a way that you can pay in that BCH, I'm going to call it Podcoin, right? Podcoin. If you can pay in Podcoin, then you can get that exposure, which you won't be able to do with BCH or necessarily anything else, right? So I'm still working through the details in my mind, but just to float this idea with you. So in a couple of weeks, when it maybe comes together, if we could do a leaderboard, or again, even just a filter would work, but I think a separate page would be a super cool test.
I think you should just create like a Telegram group with like interested stakeholders, and we should take it from there.
Okay,
yeah,
good idea.
Perfect.
I love the Podcoin. That's I want the Podcoin, but I'm gonna go create the Podcoin.
And Fiendish, just so I understand, right? It's that if you have your coin Fiend, right, and if you buy 100k Fiend, then you get a shoutout, right? Or
It's actually Emerald. So it's 100,000 Emerald. If it was 100,000 Fiend, would be 100,000. Like,
yeah. I mean Emerald. Yeah, I mean Emerald.
yeah.
So
The 100,000 Emerald. So basically, there's a giveaway. So everyone that's in here and retweeted the spaces and was here for the entire thing gets 60,000 Emeralds. And the idea is here with 100,000, you can use 100,000 to do a shout out. So live on air, and it will also be in the as a comment to this spaces to basically to try and create as much value as possible for this token too, and make it so anyone that's holding this, there's actually utility in both tokens, just different. Yeah,
fantastic. So I actually bought 300,000 Emerald yesterday. So I would like to make 3 small shoutouts right now. First little shout out, it's to Folding Cash and to the CTO of the Folding at Home project, who in the event that happened, that actually transaction fees on Bitcoin, which they originally used in this Stanford project to just use a distributed network of computers to render different proteins and do cancer research decentralized. They came to the event that, guys, we can't no longer reward our users which do this stuff for free, actually, with Bitcoin, with BTC. So he took it upon himself to change chains to Bitcoin Cash to something that worked, and the Folding Coin project have now moved to Bitcoin Cash, and I'm super bullish on this. And yeah, big shout out to him. Second shout out, it's the Badgers. Badgers.cash. This is a real super usable and technically impressive application that I think needs more attention. So a big shout out to him. And thirdly, my third shout out for 100k Emerald, it's to you guys. It's to every single Shadow Wizard in the entire world. I had a talk at the BCH Festival in Nigeria last weekend, and it was so amazing speaking to the people there. Every single Shadow Wizard out there doing DeFi magic every day, spreading awareness, cooking potions, and casting spells. Shout out to you guys. You're amazing, and you are the reason why we are actually accelerating this decentralized economy.
Oh man, great shout outs. There's great news as well. And yeah, just mentioning about badges. So the person behind this, Sayoshi Nakamaru, a really great guy, really great asset to the BCH community. If you want to listen to, if anyone listening, if you want to catch up a little bit about that, he was actually on episode 2 of Fiendish and Friends. So go and check that out. Go and check out badgers.cash. And as Halvor said, this is something you should be absolutely checking out and supporting. Great. I see. Yeah, time is we're getting kind of close, and I really want to make sure we're on the dot today as an exception because of overrunning in the past. But there's a couple of things that I definitely would like to discuss. So just thinking about Bitcoin Cash, where we're at today, like what is the outlook for Bitcoin Cash in 2025, and where does Riftenlabs fit in that, and what's how are you seeing the state of the ecosystem and where it's going? I heard before some exponential growth, but maybe you could go into a little bit more detail into that.
Yeah, Dagur.
I think I mean Bitcoin Cash is a better DeFi platform, in my opinion. So I think when people start to realize that and realize that you can actually use it for DeFi, we will see a massive growth. And then the reason I say that is because it's just so snappy, it's so fast. If you ever tried DeFi on Ethereum like blockchain, you will notice that like every time you're trying to interact with a contract, it's like, okay, you have to accept that this contract fiddles with your wallet, and then you have to wait for a block time for it to confirm in a block, and then you do a trade, and then you have to wait for it to confirm in a block. While in the Bitcoin Cash, it just goes into a mempool. It's super snappy, and it's just so much better user experience that I think it's enough to draw people over. So we are definitely going to see a huge growth in Bitcoin Cash. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, endgame is that Bitcoin Cash BCH, it is actually peer-to-peer electronic cash, and there's actual people in this world who have tricked their own brain into thinking that Bitcoin is something else, that it's some kind of rare earth precious metal substitute. And let's just face it, the total market cap of the actual rare earth gold is 20 trillion, right? And sometimes people maybe could ask themselves, what is the market cap of fiat? It's not 20 trillion. It's a lot more. So, I mean, the reason why we're here, the reason why Satoshi created the Bitcoin white paper and started all this, it was not to create gold, right? Gold exists, and gold has value. I mean, you can use it to, gold has value for many reasons. It's nice, it's shiny, you can use it to insulate space systems and satellites and as a conductor, and yeah, so gold has value. And money has value, and yeah, crypto is one of those and not the other.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so looking forward to a 2025 where DeFi, when people become aware that DeFi is possible in Bitcoin Cash, which is much snappier, much faster, and not slow, and like other coins, that this is going to lead to an explosion of growth. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys, the success and the continued success in everything that Riftenlabs is doing and concocting. And I just thought of something. Actually, you guys, you wrote something in a recent tweet, right? That something big is brewing. Stay frosty, wizards. Is there any hints? Can we get any hint of what's that about? What are you hinting to?
Well, something big is definitely brewing, and what we can say is that people interested in this should rewatch the Bitcoin.com interview with Corbin Fraser from earlier this year.
Oh man, I'm just
Fire.
writing this down. It's absolute fire. So Jeremy, we've got to sit down. We've got to figure this out. Maybe we can talk about it over the poker tomorrow as we
I
figure
watched
out
that
what the
interview.
wizards.
I watched that
and
interview when it came out, but now I'm trying to think back. It was like 6 months ago. I can't remember what exactly was said, so we're gonna have to double check that for sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna be checking that one this weekend to figure out what's the secret here. Cool, exciting. Yeah, last point. So you guys, you were both attendees at BCH Bliss. We had a wicked time together there. It was, I hope you agree, it was just awesome to get all these wonderful builders, developers, and Bitcoin Cash proponents in a room together and talking about this amazing technology. Assuming you felt the same way that I did, that it was a purely lovely emotional experience, will you guys be getting tickets for BCH Bliss 2025? And will you be joining there?
BCH Bliss was the most fun conference I had ever, I think. So definitely going again.
Yeah,
so I'll
of
see you
course.
guys there.
Of course, and
Fuck
we'll
yeah,
bring
see you there.
even more merch this time and even more socks, and we will have even more fun seeing you guys there.
Oh Jesus! There we go, Jeremy. So we better up the expected number of seats we're filling, huh?
Doing our
It's great
best,
to hear.
mate.
No, no, it's really great to hear that because you guys are really important in the ecosystem. You're creating a lot of activity. I think that between Riftenlabs and General Protocols, there we've got a really two really great companies offering sort of, I don't know, they're competing products, but also complementary to discuss. Like this is all just going to help bring in more people into the ecosystem and raise all those boats together. So I'm really, really looking forward to BCH Bliss 2025. I'm really looking forward to meeting you guys again in person. I know you've invited, so you had an invite. You invited everyone in the group to come to Norway in January. Maybe and what's happening in January?
In January, we are having a little party in Oslo, Norway, just celebrating the success of Cauldron and the launch of MUSD. It is invite only, so and very, very limited number of seats. So send an email to hello@riftenlabs.com to tell us that you're interested in this.
Yeah, just on that, I do actually want to come, but for other reasons, I can't travel at the moment. But that might be like expired by the time. What actual date is it, and what date do I need to let you guys know by?
Just let us know as soon as possible. The date of the event is 11. It's 11/01/25. So it's 11th of January 2025.
All right, that might be a close run thing, but I'll see what I can do. I'll be in touch with you guys.
Yeah, it is invite only, and you are most invited, Jeremy.
Fantastic. Jeremy and his Podcoin. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'd love to be able to join. Unfortunately, I've got work commitments, so I won't be able to, but I'll be there in spirit, that's for sure. And at the very latest, I'll be seeing you guys in Ljubljana, which actually coincides with the final Fiendish Shoutout. BCH Bliss is the BCH conference to attend next year. Thank you, Jay-Z. Another 100,000 emerald, very well spent and being put to good use. Yeah, so as I said, we're going to make a change this episode and we're going to end on time as the hour comes to a close on Fiendish Friends episode 5. So thank you so much to Dagur and Halvor for joining today. Make sure you're following them this instant on Twitter at Dagur and Halvor with an A spelled with a 4. And if you wizards, leave me with your cash token address as a comment or DM if you want to keep that private. A Fiendish token will be sent to each of you as a small token of gratitude for spending the hour with us today. For all you listeners, if you enjoyed the show and want to show your appreciation, please feel free to drop some BCH or a Fiendish token into our wallet. The cash token's address is in the description of our Twitter profile, and there will be a QR code in the comments. The next episode of Fiendish and Friends is at 1 o'clock, the same time next week, and it's featuring Zapit, CEO Ramit Goswami, and CTO Kuldeep Grewal, and they'll be joining to talk about the Zapit wallet, their ecosystem, gaming for tokens, and their recipes for success in this nascent P2P cash market. For all you fans that can't wait to listen, make sure you pop some Fiendish tokens into the jukebox and hit play. At least one token is required, turning one tokenized minute of Fiendish time into an entire 60 minutes, and sometimes more, of the latest Bitcoin Cash news and updates. Fiendish token is available at Cauldron Swap with links in the comments. So if you haven't already, go and experience Cauldren Dex. Go on there, look at all the 230 around tokens, have some fun, and make sure to check out the Fiendish token and grab yourself some emeralds. So you can also do some shout outs on the show with Ramit next week. This was Fiendish. Oh, really important. For those that are listening to the recording, there's a special treat. I'm going to play a BCH song. So if you listen to the recording at the end of this, there's going to be a couple of minutes of a cool BCH song made by one of our Fiendish and Friends, John Gold. So enjoy that. This was Fiendish and Friends. I wish you all a lovely P2P cash monsters, a very good morning, good day, and good night. Take care.
Breaking through to show a better way. I send my funds across the globe to anyone in need. It's fast. we use BCH today, where freedom lights the way. Fast, secure, and built to last, the strongest every day. From the seas to the farmlands, to the mountains capped with snow. Bitcoin Cash connects the world and helps our future grow. Yes, Bitcoin Cash connects us all and helps our future grow.